One's destiny is literally the decisions they
Sure.
make, right? And then here's an easy equation. All the little things matter. It adds up. One does not get buff overnight.
Sure.
There's not one event that makes him buff. One powerlifting meeting. No. Every day he's doing this.
Yeah.
It's habits. And discipline is required. What's discipline? Is doing the things that are good for you, even when you don't want to do it. Still do it. Fuck it. Go do it. Just go. Just go. And then what happens is after a while, like the things that were hard for you to do that you needed to create all of this discipline for, you don't. It's just easy. It's second nature. You can't, like we was at the gym today and one of my buddies, they did travel all over the world 45 days and he didn't work out. I was like, that's crazy to me.
That is crazy.
Part of my existence is feeling good because I've worked out and hit the sauna and all of the things in the morning, right? So if I don't do that, I'm not in the best mood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I don't think I'll be pleasant on a trip like that. I've built up so much of this over time. I'm just locked in. And it's funny that they say that's toxic, right? Somebody called me a sociopath. Is it a sociopath?
Sociopath,
no.
Yeah. Is it psychopath? There's sociopath or sociopath. Antisocial personality disorder.
Sociopath. No, narcissist. They call me a narcissist.
So that's one of the other Machiavellian.
So I looked up narcissist. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is me. It looks great. And then the bottom part, don't care about other people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think you're a narcissist.
No, I don't care about everybody.
Yeah.
I care about people I care about. And that's okay. And that should be okay to other people. I'm not saying I'm going out harming people that I don't care about. I don't. I just don't deal with them. But it's abnormal for one to really care about everybody. Like you don't have the capacity.
But you're still aware that other people have feelings.
Yeah,
like
for
you are like. I don't think you're a narcissist because not only are you aware that other people have feelings, you can actually feel bad for them and know that they're making the wrong decision. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Narcissists can't do that. Narcissists are like, how do you not see everything my way? So whereas like a normal person, like if you see a girl crying because you had to tell her an uncomfortable truth, you're like, oh, I kind of feel bad. Whereas the narcissist is like, what are you talking about? You get to hang out with me. You get to spend time with me. You should be happy. This is all about me. Narcissists are incapable of understanding, empathetic. And I know you have that ability.
No, I got a high degree of empathy.
Yeah.
But like 90% of what makes a narcissist is also what makes a successful man in this world.
Isn't it crazy?
So it's like, this is what y'all are demonizing, right? These notions like this, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. No thanks. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. The meek shall inherit the earth. No, they're not. No, they're not. They told my ancestors on plantations, like, hey, I know this kind of sucks right now, but look at this scripture right here. Honor your master. Just keep doing what you're doing. But when you die, land of milk and honey. It's all good. And people believe that shit. No thanks. You got heaven, I want heaven right now. I'm getting my heaven right now. And that's the thing. You can create your own heaven. If you take scripture as literal, I mean, the description of heaven is a palace with pearly gates and golden floors. It sounds fire. It's a mansion. Work for it. When you're dead, nobody's come back to really tell us what happens.
Yeah.
Let's deal with what we have right now. I don't even I'm not a big planner, right? Because I just honor right now. I honor what I have. Yesterday, I don't think about. It's gone. Tomorrow is an illusion. I hope I have tomorrow. I really would like tomorrow, but I'm living now and I'm honoring these moments now. And people need to like really honor that, to honor themselves and love themselves. I ask people all the time, do you love yourself, right? Of course. I'm like, all right. So I ask them a bunch of questions. They're not loving themselves well.
Yeah.
You know, they're not even honest with themselves. Life, in my estimation, life is rich when you have a community of people that love you, care about you care about them. Y'all need each other, they need you, especially for a man to be needed, right? And respected. That's a currency that's worth more than gold.
Yes.
Respect. But you need to be able to deal with people in the right way. And if you're not dealing with this, with self in the highest order, you can't deal with anybody else like that. If you're not honest with yourself, you can't be honest with other people.
Yeah.
If you're not loving yourself, you can't love other people. And then the basic things are things like working out.
Yeah.
Things like being mindful of the food that you put in your body.
Yes.
Things like not drinking alcohol, right? I get it. I get the fun components, right? But fellas, I tell fellas this all the time. I'm okay with fun, but fun for me is setting it up for everybody else to have fun.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me being on point. I enjoy that. So people got their panties in a bunch of a post I did the other day. 19 Keys and I did a podcast and he asked me, what's the optimal state for a man? I said, for me, is a state of war.
Interesting.
A state of like always prepared for war, right? I'm at war at all times. And physical is the least part, right? But I'm ready for that. It's psychological, it's spiritual, it's financial, it's business, it's all of the things, right? think about this. Back to idealism. In America, this is the best place to live, right?
Yeah.
The opportunities are in an abundance. People are relatively free, and it's pretty safe unless you're in certain areas, right? And you can just not be in those areas. But we only have that relative freedom, this peace, this opulence.
I already know where you're going. Yeah.
Because the heads of this state, of this place, this great nation, are extremely treacherous and extremely violent.
And violent, yeah.
Right? So without great violence, there would be no great peace, right? So that has to be the case. And as a head of a family, as a head of a business, as a head of all of these things, I have to be that guy.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have to see it, right? And people, girls are loving what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, pay attention to what the ladies are saying.
Yeah.
They're in here saying, look, you need peace and just, when war comes and you do it. Like, how do you get ready for war if you're always in a state of peace?
It is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Miyamoto Musashi.
Yeah.
So who's a gentleman, calligraphy, poetry, but he killed 150 men.
Yeah.
You feel me? I attribute morality to that, to a man that's extremely capable. Not just capable, but willing to make that full commitment. So when I teach about being dangerous in my community, right, to men, and it's not just about being physically capable, but are you down to shoot somebody? Are you down to choke that man's life out of his body if he does X, Y, Z? And I have these guys at the gun range, like, that's cool, but are you going to use that on somebody?
Yeah.
So that's what it takes. It's like we all love somebody that can really commit. We're all going to die one day. People hold on to life. They fear death.
Yeah.
They fear incarceration. It's like, no, I accept it all. I got to go at some point. I'd rather go out in a flyway. Because somebody said one time, some of the shit that I was talking about, they're like, they're going to kill you for that. I'm like, don't threaten me with a good time. You know what I'm saying? Amplify my voice. Amplify my message. That's cool. I got to die anyway. I don't want to be an old fucking decrepit man.
Yeah.
With a diaper on.
So Mia Khalifa, she had an interesting comment. She said, it goes, when I was doing porn, I was selling my body to the porn companies. It's worse to be in the army. He goes, because if you're in the army, you're selling your body to the government. And everyone sent me this video and wanted me to react to it. And I was like, and it's really interesting because I was like, does Mia Khalifa think I joined the military for me? I didn't join the military for me. I joined the military for you. I joined the military for Mia Khalifa. I joined the military for your freedom. And what you said before, extremely violent men have chiseled out this cubby hole of safety for her to say nonsense like that. And the problem is, Mike, a lot of times we've done too good of a job. It's the father who makes so much money that he makes his wife and his children's life so cushy that then they complain to him about how their lives are. We get so good at being violent, like you said, to carve out this place of safety for our family that one of the best lessons I've ever heard, Neil Patel, the guy's worth several $100 million. If you guys know, the SEO specialist. And one of the things he regrets is he created an irrevocable trust for his children based on a certain percentage of his company. Well, now his children are going to inherit hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's like, I wish I had not done that because it's going to change the way they grow up as far as the struggle that they have to go through. We get so good sometimes at providing for our friends and our family that they are now able to complain. So now Mia Khalifa, who does things where in a different time and place she would not be as accepted, is now sitting there complaining. My favorite thing about Mia Khalifa is she complains about porn stars while using her porn name to complain about porn stars, then goes on OnlyFans and continues to produce content in the nude. It's like, but she can live in that hypocrisy because she lives in a place where people are willing to die for her freedom to do so, and she completely misses the irony in what's going on there. So what you're saying is exactly correct. But the further and further away we get from the survival scenario, meaning as technology increases, as we start figuring out ways to produce food quicker, produce shelter, I think one day you're going to see 3D printed homes, and that's what we're going to do with our homeless situation.
It's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening.
But as we get further and
meat,
shit
like that.
As we get further and further away from a survival scenario, great book on this by Steven Pinker is called Enlightenment Now. The level of poverty people exist. The poorest man in the world, in the country right now, still has broad spectrum antibiotics. Whereas like Henry VIII died of gout. He was the richest man in the world and died of something that we could cure today. The poorest people in the world are still wealthy in comparison to their ancestors. But we've made the world so comfortable that now we have the ability to sit there and watch pornography or women go on OnlyFans and make money. And by the way, I don't have a problem if a woman wants to make money on OnlyFans, but it distorts the way her mind works. And it's like, I didn't do a lot of work to make this money, and now I'm suffering from depression and I can't figure out why. The answer must be for me to take Prozac. That must be the answer. Or a man watches a bunch of pornography, or the worst one is, you were talking before about taking the feedback and people being able to like listen. It's the guy, like, this is a common problem I have, is very wealthy clients who used to pay women for sex, and they come to me and they actually think they have game. They're like, I'm good with women and I pay women for sex, and they mix the two together. And you're like trying to explain to them, like, no, you have no game. The girl has tricked you into thinking you have game. And you don't understand that. Or the woman who left swiped 600 times on a dating app, and she thinks because she left swiped on all those men that she's better than those men, and that she could easily at 33, 43, whenever, find any one of those men to come back and then to be in a relationship with her and put a baby in her and provide for her. And she doesn't realize 14% of men in this country make over $100,000 a year. 17% of the men in this country are 6 feet tall. The top 1% of wage earners in this country make $500,000 a year. But she thinks that she's going to get a guy who makes $5 million a year and 6'3",
and it's going to be just her
and faithful. Exactly. And exactly. So that level of delusion, we're not willing to look at take the feedback from what it is that we're doing. And the last one that I was thinking of, if you ever watch like really progressive, like liberal content creators, they look at people yelling. It could be the Navy SEALs. I don't know if you've seen, there's these certain alpha male shows where they scream at guys, or guys like me yelling at people. And Justin Waller was recently canceled on YouTube because Vice found a clip of him like being critical of a guy. It was like a nothing clip. And the reason is because political progressives, liberals, or people you want to say are collectivists, they look at that and they don't understand that I am telling, like a military training instructor, a Marine Corps instructor, he's telling the cadet these things because he loves them. That person. You're a Marine and I'm a Marine. I'm an airman, you're an airman.
He's trying to be effective.
But he doesn't, but like if you're a progressive, or if you're a weak-minded person, if you're a slave, like we said before, that doesn't seem like that's possible, and it doesn't seem like it's productive. I'm disciplining my child because I love my child, and that's so hard for people to grasp. They're like, no, you're trying to control them. If I tell my daughter, you should try, I want you to be with a man who's willing to die for you and my grandchild, and I don't want you to give sex to anyone but him. And if you do that, you got the best chance of like having a long relationship. To people out, to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, I'm controlling her. And it's so, no, I'm not telling her that because I hate her. I'm telling that because I love her.
And I know better.
Yes.
I know better.
I know better, yeah.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting. So you bring up a really interesting point about how the guy who's worth a few $100 million, he created a soft life for his family.
Yes.
So that's something that I've always wanted to like be delicate about, to not do. But I also work my ass off for my kids to live what's considered a privileged life. I don't see it as privilege. I think it's a natural state of where they should be because of my hustle. So for instance, with my son, I just keep him close to me, and we talk a lot. Right? The first bit of adversity that I gave him was putting him in boxing. And it's funny because that was my baby boy. Seeing him getting punched in the face, it hurt. But I needed to do that. It had to happen, And I was like, so it hurt for one, because this is your child. But then there's a whole nother layer to it. It's like, is my child a punk?
No, here's the thing. The first time your child got hit in the head when he was boxing, you know what you guaranteed? He was never going to be a YouTube commenter. He was never going to be a fucking troll on TikTok. You guarantee. You want to know why? Because he got hit in the face. Do you remember that dude who was talking shit to Mike Tyson on the plane? Mike Tyson gets up and starts punching him. That guy leaves negative YouTube comments.
Oh, for sure.
If you, me, Wes Watson, Dan Fleischman, Justin Waller, if we're all sitting having dinner, and I'm like, hey guys, when was the last time any of you went on Instagram and left a negative YouTube comment? We'd be like, I don't know how to leave a negative YouTube comment.
It's so bizarre to do.
Yeah.
First of all, if I don't like your shit, I'm not going to watch it.
Exactly.
Second of all, if like there's people that I know that I didn't like their content, I just stopped following them so I don't have to see it. It's so many steps before leaving a comment and then hitting send. I would think it's embarrassing. You should be embarrassed.
If you publicly criticize someone whose phone number you have, that is such bitch behavior. I made a rule. If I have a guy's phone number and he says something bad about me, I'm always going to talk to him first because I don't need clout from getting into a beef with you.
even like there's people that try to hide, like the psychologist woman. If she cared, DM me. Let's talk about
Yeah.
it. Say that my position is a little bit problematic and explain why.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny because we talked a little bit in the DM, and I just wasn't bending on my position, and it was funny. Her reaction was just like, "You're such a dangerous man." I'm like, "Wow." I've never even yelled at a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't yell at men, right? I'm dangerous. Like, I would keep you safe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that to her. And I'm sure her husband is probably some soft guy. She's not proud of him because I didn't see him anywhere on there.
Sure.
But I listened to her and I heard her mention him. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, with my boy, that first sparring, he got turned. It was like the dog with his dick out. Like, they ready for war.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, he got it in him. The dog is in him, right? But I have been and I still am training him to be a legitimate Renaissance man, a gentleman, right? A man who can appreciate the arts, right? A man who trains his body and his mind, and a man who can be a warrior when necessary. And I'm so pleased with him thus far because he's such a solid human being.
Yeah.
He's not like, the bratty kids. Like he's chill. He thinks about me when we're shopping or this. Like, nah, Dad, we don't need that. We can save money by doing this, and I love that. Because I'm not frugal at all.
Yeah.
But he is, and I don't know how, and I love it.
It's so great.
I
yeah.
love it.
And you also mentioned he lives with you and he's going to live with you
100%.
for a while. So I think
he's married.
I think the key there is like, as long as he plays by your rules,
Yeah.
then he understands that
Right.
things will be fine for him.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that. You mentioned another thing before. You said the optimal state for men is a state of war.
Some men.
Some men, yes. I think the apex of human existence, and I'm just going through like evolutionary studies, is men achieving goals with other men. So this is the reason why we watch the Super Bowl, the reason why we watch the World Cup, the reason why we watch war movies, the reason why we all sat there in 1969, watched the moon landing. The reason why we watch these things because it was men accomplishing goals. Even the rescue operations, when their submarines are trying to rescue people or pulling someone out of a well, we all come together as a society and we're, as a group, we're like almost accomplishing goals together. That and having a family. I think those are the two apexes of human existence.
I agree.
And going to war would essentially be planning, strategy, resources, logistics, camaraderie, leadership, communication, all those things that you would need in order to go to war.
Right.
And so that would be accomplishing a goal. I mean, I can't imagine anything better than like, the feeling after winning a war, right?
100%.
So like that's essential. That's how I would see it too. And a lot of people don't grasp that concept. Is like, because I teach a networking course, I'm like, the best thing you can do for me, my sales team knows that I'm there to be of service to them and my business partners. Even though I'm the face of the business, I tell them all the time, I can't do this without you.
Right.
And so I'm here to serve you. What did I do this week to make your job harder? What can I do this week to make your job easier? And I'm their boss. And I tell them that. And I do that because in the end, I see us crossing the finish line, starting a couple of other businesses together.
Yeah.
And me being of service to them, and I learned this from Jocko Willink. He had a great book. It's called The Dichotomy of Leadership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Me being of service to them ultimately is going to be the best feeling of all, because I have earned their respect. And by the way, you and I, we're the boss. We don't need any fucking respect. No one in your company needs to give you an award. No one needs to tell me I'm good at my job.
Yeah.
My job now as the leader is to what? To heap praise. If you ever meet Ty Lopez, he sits there in a crowd full of people and he's just heaping praise. This guy's the best at this. This guy's the best. He does this all day long because he's Ty Lopez. He doesn't need any more praise. He's got all the praise. And that's something I had to learn is like, as the leader, I can change how each one of these guys feels and loves working for me, because I can give them praise and it costs me nothing to do so. Are you sick of doing pickup to meet women? Click the link in the description and I'll send you an exclusive invite to my elite networking community where you can learn to meet high quality women today.